Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Always Bet on Yourself podcast. Firstly, I wanted to say thank you all so much for the love and the support and the kind messages. I'm actually blown away, honestly. It's just been so beautiful to hear. I can't tell you how incredibly daunting it is putting yourself out there and talking about such vulnerable things for everyone to hear. So all of you have made that so much easier for me, and I really, really appreciate it. I know when I first had the idea to start the podcast, which was around in January, I couldn't even really articulate how I felt in front of the camera, in front of the microphone. I sat down and I was sort of just stumped. I didn't really know where to start because there's so much to unpack there. And I really didn't touch on everything in depth. I really didn't go into too much detail, and I felt like I went into a lot of detail in that video. So thank you. And then also I had these niggling feelings of like fear and imposter syndrome, which has really been, it's hard to deal with. I don't know why we get that. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this episode. I wanted to talk about fear and imposter syndrome, and I'll sort of talk about my own experience with it. I don't know where it comes from, honestly. It must be from when I was younger. Must be some sort of, something must have happened. I haven't analysed it too much, but I've always had that voice of, you can't do it, which is so annoying and frustrating because I definitely can. I mean, we go into new jobs and learn the ropes, and then within X amount of time, we know what we're doing. Nothing is perfect when you first start something. I don't know where this idea that we get that if you're going to try something new, you're going to be fantastic at it straight away. I think that's certainly not the case, and that's not going to be the case here. I think a lot of my episodes might be me rambling too much or stumbling my words, but I'm going to try, and hopefully I'm going to get better. I should get better anyway. I mean, fucking hell. You'd expect that. So yeah, it's just frustrating. And then you worry about what, people are thinking of you, how you're perceived, which is another ridiculous thing that we have to go through. And it's so magnified now with social media. It's just incessant. Like, social media is just a peeping Tom on people, honestly. We're just constantly in their spaces, and we can see what everyone can do. And I do enjoy it for being able to connect with people, but it's just constant. It's not like a job when you go to work 9 to 5. It is 24/7 in your face, next to your bed, constantly scrolling. So I think that's probably exacerbated that in modern times, which can be crippling and debilitating. I know so many people, so many talented people, absolutely talented people that, just can't quite get their head around it and starting something. But I really think we should reject those notions and just mind over matter. That's something I'm trying to implement in my life, is mind over matter. I want mental mastery. I think for the past 4 years, that's been something that I've really been focused on in like a light way. It's not like I've been, full trying to do that, but I've gradually became a lot more spiritual and grounded, I would say, and just quiet and peaceful, and allowing myself to have calmness and not let those thoughts completely consume me, because it was really hard sometimes. And I know that with my phone and whatnot, it's just incessant. It magnifies that a lot. And it's hard to sort of get out of that cycle. So having some meditation in my life, running and doing whatever you can to just be quiet, no drama, obviously, and stopping using your phone, caffeine, all the good stuff has been wonderful. But then there's also sometimes your mind goes rampant and it can't stop. You have to really just try to just switch it off. That's where I try with, I really do meditation with that. I think it helps me a lot. It's not like it's mental stillness all the time for me. I just maybe will speak to myself in a positive way consistently for about half an hour, or do some breathing or whatever it is. And I find that really, really helpful. And even with the imposter syndrome, which I am having right now consistently up until this episode, I've been like, no, you don't, like challenging myself and saying, you don't need to think like that. Stop it. Everyone deserves a space and to be able to be creative and express themselves. Why do we think that we can't do that? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just bonkers. But it's something that I found so bloody challenging, and it's taken me such a long time to overcome. Such a really long time to overcome. And I really hope that others know that it's really normal. It is normal if you think like that, but don't let it rule your being. Because honestly, people don't care about you as much as you think. Nobody is sitting there thinking about me every day. Nobody's sitting there thinking about you every day. Unless it's like your husband or wife or your kids or whatever. I mean, just like in normal terms, like your best friend or just acquaintances that you know, they're so focused on their own lives and what's happening in their own world that they don't have the time to think about someone else and what they could quite possibly be doing. So to overanalyze that is just, it's bonkers to me. And I don't want to live that way anymore. I don't want to have that sort of rhetoric going on in my head. I want it peaceful and clear. And I want to be brave. And I'm trying to be brave. And I've gotten to a point now where I know that I'm 30 and I'm only getting older. And I know a lot of people, it's like it's young, still young. But I want to be a really good role model for my children. When I get to have a family, I want them to look at me and be proud and say that I was courageous in doing whatever I wanted to do. I really want that for them. I want them to know that they can achieve anything they want in their life, and have me as a model for that, because it's so much more easier to be able to see someone in your life do things and you're more likely to copy that. I haven't had any model to copy that or do what I want to do. Everything that I've ever wanted to do has been on like television or media of some sort. So I'm always looking to those spaces to sort of look at people smarter than me to try and understand and, emulate things that I think are good. So that's what I've been doing. Like in the podcast space, I've been watching 3-4 podcasts a day for the last 2 years. And I just love it. It's my favorite form of media at the moment. I don't think there's anything better for me than watching real people have a conversation and talk about life, or, whatever genre the podcast is. I've got so many great ones, but I honestly love it. I think it's great. And I hate that I have that fear of you don't deserve to be in a space like that. It's annoying. And honestly, I don't understand it. I waffle all the time. So much waffling. Waffle, at work waffle. So you just get to a point where you just don't care. Don't care anymore. And I would encourage others to not care either. You can absolutely do it. Don't let anyone tell you no. Just focus on the thing you want to do. Do it for fun. Do it for fun. Life is too short to not do the things you want to do. Honestly, it really is. And I know that firsthand. And I really feel like now, I think in the beginning when Matthew passed, people would say, you have to live for him. You have to live for him. And I couldn't quite comprehend it, to be honest, because I couldn't even live. I just was so traumatized by what happened. I couldn't do anything. I was like, oh God, I can't fucking move, let alone start bounding around, jumping around, traveling and acting like I'm bloody dandy when I'm not. I've only recently just gotten there. So now I feel like I can finally start living for him and doing the things that, things that he would be proud of me for. I'm so excited. And I genuinely would encourage others to find something they're passionate about and just go for it. Because why the hell not? Why the hell not? We'll all be old and grey one day. And with sore backs, hopefully not. But, with a cane, hopefully not. In a wheelchair, hopefully not. Just, watching our grandkids. We want to leave something behind, something worthwhile. That's what I want to do anyway. I wanted to get into some books that I have read that really given me some beautiful perspective, just on life, and something that I think could be quite helpful for other people. This book is absolutely stunning. It's so profound. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. It's autobiographical. He was a psychiatrist and a neurology professor at Vienna Medical School, I believe. And he went to concentration camps, Auschwitz in World War II. And it just sort of depicts his time during being in the concentration camps and what it was like. And it's absolutely harrowing, honestly. But it gives you perspective. It gave me perspective to step outside of myself and say, okay, well, life isn't that bad. I've got a roof over my head. I've got food, water. I'm safe. Just those fundamental basic things when you're feeling like you haven't achieved too much or you're not where you want to be. Just that basic of, okay, well, let's just calm down for a minute. Life isn't that bad. I'm safe. I've got a house, etc., etc. My family's fine, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the book, he goes into some of his work into meaning and purpose and a bunch of other things that I think are really, really important. Given this was written in the 1940s, I think it was written in the 1940s. It's just such a moving book. I would recommend people to read that. And then I also have my Bible, The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. Absolutely stunning. I love this man. I think he is so cool and interesting. And I love all of what he's put in here. It's about letting the art talk for itself, not caring about what others think about your personal art. He enhances artists to get the most out of them, whether it being in different environments or different perspectives on what they can bring to the table. He's just seems like such a calm, lovely man. And he's been able to put all of his wisdom in this book, which I just think is just wonderful because it really is just about the thing that you want to do. It doesn't involve, anyone else, and it's not about being grandiose and having the best to do what you want to do. It can be so incredibly simple. He talks about just letting the art come out the way it's supposed to, and sometimes you don't need to have big fancy things to be able to do it. And I really think it's a great book. So I definitely recommend that one. And it's just helpful in the realms of rejecting other people's ideas and just going with your gut, basically. Because I feel like we've just lost so much of that, going with what we think. I find myself a lot of times seeking others to hear what they think about a thing. And then sometimes they'll tell me and I'll be like, oh, I didn't actually like that. I don't quite agree. It's just you need that validation, but you have to be strong enough in yourself to be able to give yourself that validation, which can be hard, very, very hard. But it can be done. It can definitely be done. I think it can be really hard to believe in yourself sometimes, but you have no other choice in my eyes. It is only you in this world and in this life. You have to be your own best friend. You have to be your own voice. You have to back yourself. And this is something that I'm starting to realise as I'm getting older. You have to be that person. There is no one else. We can't rely on others to always build us up, you know? And I think taking those steps to be able to be that independent person is another step towards enlightenment, honestly. Not having to rely on anyone for anything. And that's not to say that you won't. I'm not pushing people to be like, oh, I only want to do it on my own. I don't need anyone. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think it's important not to always seek out that. We need to give ourselves a lot of love, and we have the answers a lot of the time. We don't need anyone else to fix us and to tell us that we're doing it right or wrong. It all comes from within. You have to trust. If you really truly have a voice, or if you have something that you want to share with the world, share it. Like, if there's something inside of you telling you you need to do that, then do it. And I'm sure 9 times out of 10, people are so supportive, so incredibly supportive. And anyone else that's not, then, is what it is. They're not my friends. They're not in my immediate circle, and I'm sure they won't be in your immediate circle either. It's important to always bet on yourself. Definitely always bet on yourself. Well, thank you so much for listening to the second episode. I really hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and follow me on Instagram at alwaysbetonyourselfpod. Have a good day.